So today we move from the path that we've been on over the last, what has it been now? 3 weeks, where we started talking about failure, responding to failure, and then last week being stuck in a rut. This week we moved to the flip side of that, to where we're really wanting to go, and that's success. And I chose this theme. For those of you who've followed me for any length of time, you know that I've talked about success a lot. My company is called Slam Dunk Success. I have on these videos, in my podcast episodes, and in my blog posts, I've written my share about success. In fact, my first podcast episodes were about the quote, "Success is a journey, not a destination." And it was another one of those famous success quotes that's escaping me right now. I did a whole series on John Wooden's Pyramid of Success. And so, this is a topic that's fairly common, as a common thread in the things that I do. However, I wanted to focus on it today for a couple of reasons. One is, I said, to kind of, okay, you're going to have failure. That was what we've talked about the last few weeks. You're going to have those moments where things are not going to go the way you want them to go. Just keep at it. Just keep working through it. And then sometimes you're going to get stuck in ruts, and you just got to, there's a variety of things that you can do to try and get yourself out of those ruts. Change in some fashion is a key. But what we're after is that concept of success. And so I wanted to do it for that reason. And then also because this is the time of year for any of you who are winter sport coaches where your seasons are wrapping up. And it's the time when you kind of look back on your season and think, take a look and see, okay, how successful were we? What was our success? And then you have to determine that because you're going to be speaking at your end of year sports awards night. And so, it's the time when we talk about how successful our season was. In my community, I've been watching my own team, for instance. We've struggled, for scoreboard success. My 7th grade girls team, with the boys team, the 8th grade boys I had in the fall, same thing. But you find successes within seasons when that happens. Last night I watched our high school boys in a great battle of a game. They just came up short again. And so they've struggled for scoreboard success. Well, if that's the only success we're focused on, we're missing the point. And yet I do agree that, results do, speak to our success and our success as well. And so we have to recognize, what am I doing on a daily basis that is successful, that is working my way toward the success, toward the goal in the goals that I am seeking. And so, yes, scoreboards are a measure of success. But as I say, if that's our only measure of success, I think we're really missing a point here. And that is that we need to focus, like I said a minute ago, on the journey instead of the destination. Yes, the destination is important, but we got to focus on, what am I doing every day to get there? And another reason I wanted to talk about this right now is because it's time to talk about my book, Senior Salute, because this is the book I wrote for you coaches or parents or leaders of any type, but to give to your senior athletes at the end of their seasons. It's the follow-up to my Inspiration for the Graduate, which was the first book and the most popular book I've ever written, where I wrote that for you to give to your graduating seniors. Well, I decided we needed one for at the end of each season, when you have your senior, your awards night, or your end of season banquet. Well, what are you giving? Well, how are you recognizing your seniors? That's why I wrote Senior Salute. And I'm taking it from the chapter on success. And I'm taking a few quotes. If you listen to the podcast, then you heard a couple of those quotes, or a few of those quotes. I just wanted to talk about a few of them right now with you in the video as well. And of course, the one that I've done numerous times and mentioned numerous times is John Wooden's quote, "Success is peace of mind and the self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best you're capable of becoming." I've loved that definition of success ever since I first heard it. And it was like, yeah, that to me is what it's all about. Yes, a scoreboard is important, but that's what gets at the heart of what true success is. Did you do the best you could to become the best you're capable of becoming? But here's a couple of other quotes that I want to focus on. And that's what this book is all about. It's numerous, I have, for instance, here's like the little, introduction to the concept of success. And then it's just filled with quotes on success. I think I have 18 of them in that chapter. But, teamwork is a chapter and accountability is a chapter. And so I have various chapters on different team themes. And so I chose this one because it's talking about success. And a couple of the quotes that I read in the podcast, if you heard the podcast episode on Monday, then you heard these. But I love this one I think Thomas J. Watson was the president, CEO of IBM. He said, "Would you like me to give you a formula for success? It's quite simple, really. Double your rate of failure." And what I like about that is it gets right back to what we talked about in the first couple of these theme weeks. Failure is not only an option, it's a good option. Go for it. Here's what he says. Double your rate of failure. Don't think of failure as the enemy of success. It isn't at all. You can be discouraged by failure or you can learn from it. So go ahead and make mistakes. Make all you can, because that's where you will find success. Yes, this is a great way to approach this concept and approach the concept that we talked about over the first couple weeks of failure. I'm not going to read each of the ones that I did the other day, but I am going to read a couple others. The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. Colin R. Davis. Yeah, because you're heading in the same path. You're seeking success. It's just that you're going to have failures along the way. The girls I'm coaching right now, every day we're trying to get better at our skills. It's where we need to work right now. Last night we had a game, and all of a sudden I've got a couple girls trying their crossover dribbles. They wouldn't do that earlier in the year. I still have girls who put their head down and dribble to the right only, or get stuck and hold the ball like this, but more are starting to rip through. More are starting to get past some of the failure. Yes, there's still failure, and the scoreboard is showing failure, absolutely. But it's the little successes that they're having on a daily basis. We'll get back to practice today, and we're going to work on those skill things again that eventually will lead to success. So yeah, the road to success and failure are pretty much the same. And then the last one in here, I like Colin Powell, his quote, "There are no secrets to success. It's the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." There's that word again. So yes, success and failure are so closely related. They are, I think, extremely important that we don't only focus on one, but we must always focus on both of them together. Let me wrap with one from Inspiration for the Graduate. This was in my chapter called Winning and Losing, and it's the last quote. "The wonderful thing about the game of life is that winning and losing are only temporary unless you quit." This was by an unknown author, an unknown person. And so this concept of success is something that we will always come back to in my work, here on the video, in the podcasts, and also in the blog posts, and in my books and the things that I write. And so recognize that we need to always focus on how can I continue to become the best I'm capable of becoming. What do I do on a daily basis? I'm sure I'll be covering the concept of habits and daily work as we make our way through the various themes throughout the course of this year. But I wanted to do this one now because I wanted you to remember about my book, Senior Salute. This is a great time to pick this up. You'll be having your senior nights and your end of season banquets coming up. So get this now. I have it on a special on my site, and I have bundles of it on a special and a bundle of it with Inspiration for the Graduate. So I've got them on a special, some special prices right now. slamdunksuccess.com. Go to the shop page and you'll be able to pick those up. I send them out by priority mail, so you get them in 2 to 3 days. So, but I'd order them soon so that you can make sure you have them them in time, because you never know, with post office or whatever could happen. So anyway, now's a great time to pick those up on the special that they're on. And next week, we're going to shift our attention. We're going to stay with this concept of success, but we're going to shift our attention to, for those awards nights that you're doing, what awards do you give out? Now, for some of you, it might be a little too late. You've already said, here's the awards we're going to be giving out. But for the rest of you, or for those of you who are just finishing your season and you have already done that for next year, maybe, I'm going to give you some ideas on what awards you should be giving out as opposed to maybe the ones you do currently give out. How do you reward the people in your organization? Okay, how do you reward the success that you've had? We'll talk about that next week, so come back next week for that. We'll see you then.